Good morning, I'm Larry Steinhouse, and welcome to Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is a politically charged stock market pre-show giving you the politics behind the biggest moves in the stock market. It is presented with comedic common sense by an expert in financial literacy, and hey, that's me, Larry Steinhouse. Today is Friday, January 14th, and of course I want to welcome you to the show. We are here live on WWDB Radio in Philadelphia, and we are live on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube. By the way, for those of you who want to connect to me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is @LarrySteinhouse, and of course you can find me on Facebook, you can follow me on TikTok, and of course other social media by searching Larry Steinhouse. I'm the only one, so you'll have an easy time finding it. Just remember, if you're watching online, hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. You can comment live during the show on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. And if you are watching online, please say hi, because if you don't say hi, I don't know you're watching. See that, Michael? Right on cue, man. Thanks so much for watching. I totally appreciate you. All right, Money Chat Now is brought to you by Investor Schooling. And of course, you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com. Last night was a really good class. All right, you're also going to be learning about real estate investing and stock options trading by those who do it every day. Hey, thanks, Charles. Thanks for checking in. And thank you, Joe, for checking in as well. Thank you, guys. And of course, anybody else listening, please say hi. All right, on today's show, we're going to be discussing the futures update. We're going to be talking about the small victory over the dictator Biden. We're going to be talking about whether COVID is a flu. Yeah, everybody's going to be looking forward to that. We're going to be talking about the trade deficit, Manhattan rents, Ford stock, Delta earnings, and of course, today's picks. Hey, Joe. I'm sorry. Hey, Joy. Thank you so much for watching. We totally appreciate it. All right. Let's talk about the futures update and what's going on. Yesterday was an interesting day. Look, the Dow opened up high yesterday, and then it fell back. And even the NASDAQ opened up and then sunk today. And, of course, the S&P followed suit. It was kind of a mess. The airlines and cruise stocks did very well when Delta reported earnings and great guidance. I've been saying this for about a month now, and yesterday I exited most of my travel stocks and stock option plays. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. The Dow futures are right now down 35. The S&P is down 5, and the NASDAQ is down 33. Excuse me. Hey, Lou, thanks for watching. Thanks, Jill, for watching. And thanks, Jane, of course. Thank you, guys. All right. Yesterday, the Supreme Court announced their ruling on Gestapo Joe's vaccine mandate. It's about time someone in the government actually followed the Constitution. It's not all good news, but let's rewind back to the Supreme Leader's mandate. So he basically instructed OSHA, which would become just another four-letter word for the spelling of Nazi, to find businesses. They would find the businesses with employees of 100 or more. So basically, if an employee was found to not be vaccinated, they would have to fine them $13,500 if an employee was found not to be vaccinated. It's amazing. It also required all non-vaccinated employees to wear a mask if they received the rare medical or religious exemption. So if you applied for a medical or religious exemption, it was not likely you were getting one anyway, but if you did, fine. Somehow, Biden and the rest of the Gestapo convinced the American public that because this could be a health hazard, OSHA, which would have been renamed Nazi, maybe not, anyway, would have been granted the power by a thin rule that allows OSHA to issue mandates under the emergency power granted by Congress. Clearly, this was never the intention of the emergency power ruling, nor is it legal or justified. Well, I've been reporting that Gestapo Joe issued his mandate using this thin rule and told all the employers that they had to get vaccinated. This put the employers in a tough position as they had to either fire employees who were not complying or risk fines. It also came down to making sure that no agency or any leader can have the ultimate power over the people. And that's why the Supreme Court voted against this. You know, like our forefathers who wrote the Constitution had intended in the first place. Now, Chief Justice John Roberts, who was appointed by George Bush, he said during the arguments that he thinks it's hard to argue that the 1970 law governing OSHA gives free rein to the agencies to enact such broad regulations. And he's absolutely correct. That's why OSHA will no longer be renamed Nazi, and I can now refer to Gestapo Joe as President Poopy Pants again. There is, however, bad news here. The Supreme Court did allow the ruling to stand with any healthcare organization that accepts Medicare or Medicaid payments. Now you need to understand why single-payer health insurance will destroy this country. Basically, this ruling leaves doctors, nurses, and other skilled workers in hospitals stranded if they want to exercise their medical freedom. It's such a shame. Look, on the other hand, we still have states and cities also that allow vaccine mandates, and that needs to stop as well. The Nazis in charge, like Mayor Kenney in Philadelphia, and now, of course, Mayor Adams in New York, need to be challenged as well. And it's sad that so many people will blindly just obey instead of fighting these mandates. It's clear that without cooperation, the Gestapo leadership would just fold like Wolf has, now that his wings were cut by the legislature in June when his emergency power was limited to 2-week intervals. Wolf has been quiet since they put him in his place. Look, I feel sorry for those living in New York, New Jersey, and California. The Gestapo leadership is still strong there. Move out, do what you got to do, enough, right? By the way, thanks, Barbara, for tuning in, and thanks, Bill. And Rob wants to know, because I've been wearing the same jacket for 93 episodes, if it ever gets washed. No, I like the way I smell, Rob. Leave me alone. All right, let's talk more about my favorite subject, the scary Omicron variant. Oh! It appears, once again, that many countries are actually starting to realize that this version of COVID is just a bad cold, and they feel it should be treated as such. So Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez is the latest European leader to stick his head above the parapet by suggesting it's time to reevaluate COVID. He called on the EU to debate the possibility of treating the virus as an endemic illness instead of a pandemic illness. Ugh. It's been an endemic for 1.5 years. Everybody go away. The situation is not what we faced a year ago, Sanchez said in a radio interview on Monday as Spanish school children returned to their classrooms after the holidays. I think we have to evaluate the evolution of COVID to an endemic illness. Like the common cold used to be. Arr! Anyway, from the pandemic that we've been facing until now, he said, Sanchez said it was time to open the debate around a gradual reappraisal of the pandemic at a technical level and at the level of health professionals, but also at a European level. Of course, other leaders like our own President Poopy Pants are focused on tests and tests and tests and more tests. By the way, if ever Trump was right about something, he was right when he said stop all the testing. Just stop it. Even the Big Johnson, if you watched yesterday, the show, even the Big Johnson in the UK is starting to come around and bend. If you listened to yesterday's show, I know you just chuckled. All right, anyway, the Big Johnson had actually stated that the British people will have to learn to live with the virus. You mean like they used to when it was a cold? I find it amusing that people are still allowing the government place fear to live rent-free in their heads. Stop it already. Have you noticed that both your vaccinated and unvaccinated friends are all sick right now? Here's the best part. Do this. Actually, do this experiment. Ask the vaccinated why they think they have mild symptoms, and they will answer, with confidence, of course, because I'm vaccinated. Now ask the unvaccinated friend why they think they have mild symptoms, and they will say, because I'm unvaccinated. Ugh. And by the way, ask the conspiracy theorist, like me, why I have mild symptoms, and they will say, because it's a freaking cold. The irony of it all. Oh, my goodness. Hey, Jose, thanks for watching. Hey, thanks, Bill. I don't know if I said hello yet, but thanks so much for watching. I totally appreciate you guys. And, of course, if you're watching online, please leave comments. I love it. All right, let's talk about the trade deficit. It's kind of something interesting that's not really mentioned lately. The U.S. trade deficit is a measurement basically of how much we export to other countries versus how much we import from other countries. Well, President Poopy Pants is clearly setting new records. It's amazing. The guy just keeps setting records. Not just records on how low of an approval rating you can go, but he's setting records on the trade deficit as it continues to break records month after month. In November, the trade deficit widened by 17.5% to $97.8 billion from $83.2 billion in October. That was a record for the United States and exceeded the prevailing record set in September of $97 billion trade deficit. Apparently, the bottleneck in the Pacific, isn't slowing this down. Maybe it was caused, maybe the bottleneck was caused by workers not showing up, or maybe the bottleneck was caused by so many other countries needing to ship their goods here to America because no one here is making stuff anymore. Well, we all know why that is. Government regulation, unions, lazy workers have just been keeping this country behind product manufacturing for decades. Is there really a solution? I'm going to say, you ready? Probably not. But here's what I think is going to happen in the future. The smaller countries, or the countries that have workers working for $3 an hour, are going to grow. And when that happens, the average worker there is going to figure out what workers here in America have figured out a long time ago. And that's basically how to manipulate the politicians into wage increases, minimum wage payments, and fair working conditions. Is it a good thing? Of course it is. And also, of course, it's going to even the playing field. Listen, have you seen pictures, basically, of some of the fastest growing economies on the planet? Have you seen pictures of India? Take a look how fast this country has grown. Maybe they're doing things right, or maybe call centers with people barely speaking English is a much more profitable business than we think it is. All right, let's take a break. We'll see you in a minute.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start? Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from two Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhouse, about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. investorschooling.com.
Welcome back to Money Chat Now. I am your host, Larry Steinhouse. And of course, if you'd like more information on investor schooling, you can go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829, 866-424-2829. Hey, I want to thank you all for listening on WWDB Radio in Philadelphia. Hey, if you're watching online, please hit that share button. Hit that share button, guys. Hit that like button. Let your friends know about how to make more money and have a little bit of fun while they learn. Hit that like button, like I said, and also leave comments. Hey, I want to thank Bill. Bill's leaving some interesting comments. He's excited that the viewership is growing. Hey, Bill, there's only one person more excited than you that the viewership is growing, and of course, that's me. So thanks so much for keep tuning in and keep telling your friends about the show. All right, so far we've been discussing the futures update. Right now, the Dow is down 65, the S&P is down 9.75, and the NASDAQ is down about 50. Hey, we talked about the small victory that finally the Supreme Court has put President Poopy Pants in his place, which I guess would be the bathroom, right? I don't know, whatever. So is COVID the flu? We talked about that. We talked about the trade deficit. We're going to be talking about Manhattan rents, Ford, Delta earnings, and some other earnings as well. Hey, Tommy, thanks for watching. Hey, Sal, thanks so much for watching. We appreciate it. Hey, all right, and of course, we're going to be talking about today's picks and plays. Hit that like button, hit that share button, leave those comments, and if you're listening on WWDB Radio, be sure and set a preset to this station and listen every day at 7:30. Also, when you get home, look up Money Chat Now on Facebook and let me know what you think. All right, let's talk about, excuse me, let's talk about Manhattan rents. Wait, so when I read an article recently about Manhattan rents, I wasn't surprised that rents in Manhattan are ridiculously high. What surprised me is that they're rising so fast. Manhattan has always been a very high rent district. However, when the government overreach and the Gestapo leader in that town, de Blasio, destroyed the city, I think this guy did more damage to the city than 9/11 did. Anyway, we heard of mass exodus from Manhattan, and there were many thousands of apartments that were left empty or filled with people who weren't paying rent because of illegal eviction moratoriums. But New York City landlords are now having the last laugh. Not only have the moratoriums been lifted, but just like most areas in the country, rents are skyrocketing. In December, the average rent in Manhattan increased to the highest level in history. Just like some of the other housing markets, there have been bidding wars for rentals. Most rental agents are advising their clients that the listed rent is just a starting point and they should actually bid up to 20% higher than the listed rent if they really want the apartment. Could you imagine? I'm blown away by this. The vacancy amount in Manhattan was a whopping 25,000 units mid-scamdemic, and now it's an average of 4,700 empty units. Now, this is not a lot, it's not a lot of units for the amount of people in New York, but here's another interesting fact. Many of the units actually were being rented for the first time because apparently many people moved from New York to Florida to escape the high taxes and the dictatorships and left their units in hands of management companies who rent them. Wow. So who's moving in? Well, it looks like new graduates who want to be close to the companies they work for. Yeah, I mean, these are obviously graduates who are going to be working on Wall Street or somewhere else, and they want to be close to the companies they work for. Could you imagine what these people have to pay for people who live in Manhattan? Oof. Anyway, this is a tell that the scandemic is finally actually moving on. And the companies and the employees are expecting a full back-to-the-office work environment soon. By the way, the average rent in New York City is about $4,400 for a small unit. Have you seen how small those things are? Wow, it's incredible that this rent is so low. I mean, so high for such small units. All right, let's talk about Ford. Whoa, Ford, where'd this come from? So the entire landscape for automobiles is changing, and it's changing fast. In the 60s and 70s, it was all about engines and transmissions, loud cars with big seats. Now it's all about technology. Every car you look at has these big touchscreens that are pretty much run the car. You can't even turn your heat up without going to a screen that says, "Hey, move your heat." It's weird. Also the cars connect to the internet and they connect to your iPhone or your phone, whatever phone you have. They're also set up with all kinds of safety features like lane correction, adaptive cruise control, self-parking, and even self-driving. Cars at this point are like computers now in the sense that as soon as you buy one, it becomes obsolete. The fear of missing out is just driving sales. It's crazy. So it's driving many people buy new SUVs faster than ever. So the cars and SUVs are being sold like nuts. All right, this has led to surges in new car demand, and Ford is one of the beneficiaries of the demand. Ford stock is now over $25 a share, and it's at an all-time high. The company valuation has hit a new record of $100 billion. Wow. Anyway, the new lineup of cars is great, but did they have to really call that electric SUV a Mustang? I actually keep saying that, and in reality, they don't have enough of them to sell. It must have been brilliant to call it that. They can't keep them in stock, and they're back ordered for months. Most of the car companies are moving toward all electric, and this will make the demand higher for several years as well. Chrysler, by the way, has made a commitment to go all electric by 2028, and others are beginning to follow. Listen, if you're a fan of Ford stock, it also pays a dividend, and that makes it attractive as well. My only fear with this stock is that it may not maintain this price range. It actually just recently got a downgrade. I'd like to see it below 20 before I jump in. As for electric cars, listen, here's a hint to you all. Get an old reliable gas-powered car and keep it in the garage as a backup in the future. Because one day your area is going to be hit with a major blackout, and you'll be stuck with no power to drive your car. That will be rough. Hey, let's talk real quick about Delta earnings. Yesterday, Delta Airlines reported their year-end earnings, and it was a report that I said was going to be a game changer for the market. I had mentioned the report itself would not be important, but the guidance for the future would be a more important factor. It turned out that both were important, and this drove airline stocks up yesterday. Delta actually reported a higher earnings number than expected when they reported 22 cents per share earnings versus 14% earnings, and their revenue was reported $9.47 billion versus $9.2 billion. Look, I've been telling you, this is a play I've been telling you guys to take ever since the scary Omicron variant was discovered in November. The airline stocks have moved up by 25% in the last 6 weeks, and I made a killing on them. It was awesome. I'm probably up about 33% of my account since January 1st. Yesterday I sold most of my holdings, and I did the happy dance. Hey, we're going to be talking more about earnings after the break, and we'll see you in a minute.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start? Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from two Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhouse, about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. investorschooling.com.
Welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. And of course, if you'd like more information on investor schooling, you can go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829, 866-424-2829. All right. So far, of course, we've been discussing the futures update, and right now, the Dow is falling. It's down 126. The Nasdaq is down 19.5, and the S&P is down 19.5, and the Nasdaq is down 102.5. Ooh, I'm going to talk about why in a minute. All right, we talked about the small victory over the Biden Gestapo mandates. We talked about the COVID being the flu. We talked about Manhattan rents, and of course, Ford and Delta earnings. All right, coming up is today's picks and plays. Hey, did you guys hit that like button yet? Tommy, did you hit that like button? Sal, did you hit that like button? Bill, let's go, Jose. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Even more important, let everybody know what great stock plays are coming up by sharing this information. And of course, not only share on your own page, but share in groups that you feel will benefit from the great stock plays. Hey, leave me some more comments on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. Let me know you're listening, you're watching. The only way I can know you're watching is if you leave comments. If you're listening on WWDB, don't forget to set one of your presets to this channel and listen every day at 7:30 for all you need to know about politics behind the stock market. All right, let's talk about what's going on. All right. I remember when I was a kid and I used to love watching Bugs Bunny. Is it duck season? Is it rabbit season? No, it's earnings season. Yay! All right, this is the beginning of the fun as today officially kicks off earnings season. This is when all the stock options traders like me make most of our money. Almost every stock out there will start to go up as we head toward the date of the announced earnings. Today we kicked it off with financial stocks like JP Morgan Chase and Citigroup and Wells Fargo. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but it's going to be a big morning. Now, what happened was, of course, these earnings came out. They came out right before the show. I reviewed them, and there was nothing spectacular about them. And that's going to be a problem, and that's why the Dow is falling right now, and the Nasdaq and the S&P are falling right now. Now, it's going to be temporary. In fact, it's even possible that it will come back this afternoon, so watch for it. I actually think it may be all right. I think it may actually be a good thing because people are going to be anticipating the earnings for next week and they'll be getting in. The other thing is I'm actually surprised that earnings are on a Friday morning for these big companies, but actually this might be a good one because I don't think they're going to be that great earnings, and I also think that's exactly what happened. Meta moved their earnings announcement date to February 2nd. Meta is Facebook, which means you still have time to stake your position now. I like this stock. It's a good one. I predict the stock will be north of $350 within 2 weeks. So whether Well, I don't care whether you're playing the stock or not. Write down what it is right now. And by the way, Facebook right now is a play for me. I'm going to be buying it right as soon as the market opens. It's at 323 right now. Mark it down. Mark this down. In 2 weeks, take a look at this, and I would venture to say this stock will be north of 350. I also going to tell you that I like Apple, and I'm looking for about 170 to jump in. I sold most of my travel stocks yesterday, a nice profit, and basically I'm looking forward to making more money since coming up. All right, on the crypto scene, real quick, crypto is boring again, and we need a tweet from Elon Musk to push this up. By the way, he did this morning, which is kind of funny. Gold and silver, they're just kind of sitting there, and they're begging you to buy some. Look, remember, this is an asset that moves slow but never fails. I like holding the actual silver. I like holding the actual gold. I would buy it. I'm telling you, buy it. Even if you want to buy a little bit every month, just buy a little bit, put it away. You'll be happy when everyone is broke and you've got something. The Treasury Bond is still hovering right around 1.74, 1.75, and I told you to expect it to go down over the next few days as investors start to move back into tech stocks. I'm going to predict that it's going to move below 1.5, but I also expect it to go back up in February, and I'm telling you right now, the range will probably be about 1.5 to 1.75, so just get used to it, and this will be good, of course, as tech stocks will start doing better again. Hey, did you make any money watching this show? Let me know if you made any money. Let me know if you like the show. Of course, continue to listen. Continue to leave comments on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. And if you're a first-time listener or viewer, please let us know what you think of the show. Of course, before we finish for the day, I want to thank all the listeners on WWDB in Philadelphia. Thanks for your continued support. And if you're enjoying the show, please reach out and let us know. You can leave comments on the WWDB fan page on Facebook, and you can look for us online. My name is Larry Steinhouse. I'm here, and I am the host of Money Chat Now. From time to time, I own some of the options discussed in this show, some of the assets discussed in this show, and the opinions discussed in this show is solely mine, and no one has asked me to make them. You guys going to have a good weekend this weekend? I sure hope so, because I will. Make it a profitable day. I'll see you on Monday.